Oh, hey there, Internet, and welcome to last year's Christmas special. If you've been following the channel, you probably heard about how our computer fried right before Christmas. Well, there's no crashes this year, so we brought out all the decorations and props we are going to use last year. Especially these presents, like this... Oh! Statue of yours truly. And over here... Oh, that's right. I hadn't watched it yet, had I? I was going to open this box and freak out that it was there, and then I'd demand to know who it was from, so I'd go check this card right here, and it would say... Okay, that is not what it said. I swear that is not what it said. I know, because on the back it says... You know what? We're not going to mess with that box, because it's starting to freak me out. Instead, you want to know what's in this box. You see, in this box...
is a red nose. Merry Christmas, everybody. This is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose.
Greetings, the world of the internet. I am the great Matthew Squeak, and welcome to Squirrel Talk Review. You heard that right. This year, to catch up from last year, we're watching another classic of classics from the same people that taught us to fear mailmen. This time, they took a song and made a movie out of it. Is it as terrifyingly charming as its Santa counterpart? Well, grab a hunk of nostalgia and let's check out Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. After a brief newspaper opening, we find they didn't always use creepy mailmen to narrate stories. They had Colonel Sanders if he was a snowman.
Oh, excuse me. Call me Sam. What's the matter? Haven't you ever seen a talking snowman before?
No, actually, I have encountered a few of these speaking snowmans.
Hi, everyone. I'm Olaf, and I like warm hugs.
We're briefly introduced to Santa, looking rather thin.
Now, don't any of you worry your heads about Santa. Mrs. Claus will have him plenty fattened up by Christmas Eve. It's always the same story.
You mean to say he loses 100 pounds every year just to gain it back right before Christmas? That sounds so unhealthy. But enough of that. We came to see a movie about a reindeer, so we cut to a cave. Because there wasn't any room in the stable, and we find a happy little reindeer family. Donner, the mother, and Rudolph.
He's got a shiny nose.
Shiny? I'd even say it glows.
Like a light bulb. We also see that Donner's antlers have melted. Santa shows up to inspect the newcomer.
You see, little fellow, every year I shine up my jingle bells for 8 lucky reindeer.
Yet the same 8 reindeer win year after year. And he starts to sing.
Jingle, 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 you will hear my sleigh bells ring. I am old Kris Kringle, I'm the king of jingling.
Was this just for Rudolph? Or does he do this for every newborn?
Jingling! Ho, ho!
Ho, ho, ho! On to the next cave! From the top, maestro!
Come here, boy. You'll be a normal little buck just like everybody else, right? A chip off the old antlers.
Yep, just sweep his deformities under the rug. I'm sure that'll work out. Father of the Year, people. Rudolph starts growing up, and we get a brief encounter with... Santa's neighbor, who is really an abominable snow monster. Look, I know you guys are on the run until Grimsley's quest for power is over, but there has got to be a better place for your base of operations. It turns out this movie isn't just about a reindeer with a glowing nose, it's also about a misfit human thinking he's an elf. Just look at those ears. Those aren't elf ears. Plus, everyone else are just clones. Look at them all. right out of the test tubes. Maybe he really is an elf and something went wrong with his, development. Herbie doesn't want to make toys and work on the assembly lines. Instead, he wants to be...
Well, sir, someday I'd like to be a dentist.
A dentist?
Oh, shame on you. You're an elf, and as an elf, that is your sole purpose for existing. That and singing for Santa's entertainment. I know, modern versions of Santa's Village have professions all around. We have Dr. Elves, Behavior Monitor Elves, Secret Police Elves, but back in this day and age, you made toys and danced for entertainment. Or else.
All out for elf practice! Well, let's get this over with. I have to go down and look over the new deer.
Okay, Santa.
Wait, what just happened to your voice? A moment ago, you sounded like this.
All out for elf practice!
Oh, that's right. This is a village of clones, so this could easily be a different guy. Even when we cut back to Herbie a year later, apparently, we see that he's still ahead of his time and underappreciated.
Just fixing these dolls' teeth.
Just fixin'. Now listen, we have dolls that cry, talk, walk, blink, and run a temperature. We don't need any chewing dolls.
Yet we have that now. He decides to quit and exits by escaping through a window because leaving out the front doors isn't an option. It'll either lead to the gallows or as a sacrifice to appease the neighbors. Christmas passes and we move into April. It's time for the reindeer games.
Hi, my name's Fireball.
You mean Rudolph could have had a cool name like Fireball?
Hey, look! Those!
Unlike other species of deer, both male and female reindeer grow antlers. But males grow them in the summertime while females grow them in the winter. That means that it is female reindeer that are actually pulling the sleigh.
Look, it was a different time and mentality back then. Women were still expected to cook and clean the house, and that's about it. But, oh, what the heck. Those deer that drag Santa's sleigh all over the world every year, they're chicks. Girl power at its finest. So Rudolph meets the doll of his dreams, Clarice.
Nice day.
Who sounds a lot older than everyone else her age, and with a little inspiration,
I think you're cute.
Rudolph blows away the competition by not only taking off, but completely soaring. And he didn't even need an ounce of
Magic feet corn?
corn, nothing. All you need to make a reindeer fly is to tickle his hormones a little. But our freak of nature got a little too excited over female attention and winds up blowing his little secret.
Donner, you should be ashamed of yourself. What a pity. He had a nice takeoff, too.
Oh yes, you should have locked him in a closet or had him sacrificed to the snow monster like all the other reindeer we don't use.
All right now, yearlings, back to practice. Oh, no, not you. You better go home with your folks. From now on, gang, we won't let Rudolph join in any reindeer games, right?
Like Monopoly! Who keeps letting him pass security? Well, the only one that doesn't seem affected by the unnatural nose is Clarice. And she sings a lovely little song with some dead-eyed animals.
Time in a day, we all pretend the rainbow has an end.
But her father happens to disagree with that, and Rudolph finds himself alone.
Oh, is this your snowbank?
But finds Hermie freezing to death in a snowbank. His disappearance has probably been noticed, and now he needs to hide out until the heat dies down. He's a revolutionary now.
But I don't need anybody. I'm independent.
Oh, blasphemy! Every time an elf tries to be independent, an ornament falls from a tree. Some things are just not meant to be.
Independent.
Seeing as how they are both oddballs, the duo quickly bond and start another little number.
We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits. What's the matter with misfits? That's where we fit in.
I actually like this one. It's got a good message to it. Don't be afraid to be an oddball. We've all seen the episode where SpongeBob gets normal. Don't be normal.
Maybe different from the rest. Who decides the test of what is really best? We're a couple of misfits.
No, excuse us while we take a moment to freak you out in the middle of our number. Really, what was up with this? Why was this here? Why did this need to be here? Well, whatever. After the song and dance and the freak out, they decide to leave the North Pole behind. But the path to freedom is blocked by Big, Hairy, and Scary. That's why it's so easy to enslave the elves. The alternative is to face him. With them continuing to be on the run, just like that, the dynamic duo picks up a third party member. Now, if anyone is the most memorable, it's this guy.
The name's Yukon Cornelius, the greatest prospector in the North.
We've got the reindeer with the blinky nose and an elf dentist, but this guy just takes the cake for being the biggest oddball of them all. Think about it. He's some kind of prospector wandering around alone, essentially in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't have any idea what he's prospecting for. His sled dog team are not much in the way of sled dogs, but he's jolly with a larger-than-life personality, and even in the face of danger, he doesn't break a sweat. I always look forward to him appearing on the screen. The late Larry D. Mann just makes this guy come alive. He may still have that stiff, wooden movements and the dead, unblinking eyes, but just listen to this guy and tell me he isn't the life of the party.
Fog's as thick as peanut butter.
You mean pea soup?
You eat what you like, or I'll eat what I like.
What's more, this guy finds an elf and a talking reindeer and doesn't even question it. Here, get on the sled. I'll take you wherever you're going. I'd question some ulterior motives, but this guy is just impossible to not like. With Yukon Cornelius leading the way, they make an escape onto an ice floe. And we get another musical number from the snowman. Like he's a big part of the plot or something.
And gold, silver and gold, silver and gold. Everyone wishes for silver and gold.
All the while, there's a squirrel here telling him off for tricking him into taking a bite out of gold. And with my expertise in squirrelese, I can translate his every word for you. Let's see here. You piece of snowman, you made me I'm not sure this should be a G-rated movie. Now, before we find out what happened to our dynamic trio, the narrator breezes through what the rest of the Donner family is doing. Donner decides to go out searching. Mother wants to go too, but
No, this is man's work.
so she goes anyway. Typical female. And they also kind of kidnap Clarice along the way. Cut back to Rudolph and the gang who have arrived on the island of misfit toys. A kind of refuge for unwanted, defective toys like...
No, Charlie! That's why I'm a misfit toy. My name is all wrong. No child wants to play with a Charlie in the box.
No, the reason no one wants to play with you is because Jack-in-the-Boxes are downright terrifying. They also sing a kind of depressing-sounding song of how cool Christmas is.
When Christmas Day is here, the most wonderful day of the year.
I know that's a weird way to describe it, but that's exactly what it is. But what I'm really wondering is, what exactly is wrong with some of these toys anyway? The boat who can't float and the square-wheeled train, yeah, those guys are hoes. But what's wrong with this little dolly here, or this handsome fellow? I had a polka-dotted elephant once. So Rudolph and friends decide to take up residence on the island, but they have to get permission from this guy, who's responsible for abducting defective toys and dumping them on this island until someone wants them. Not sure how that's supposed to happen, because they're in the middle of a frozen wasteland that the gang found by pure chance. But Scar's response is,
No, that would not be possible. This island is for toys alone.
How do you like that? Even among misfits, you're misfits.
When someday you return to Christmas Town, would you tell Santa about our homeless toys? I'm sure he could find little boys and girls who would be happy with them.
Did you miss the part where they're running from home? Hermie's probably criminal number 1 at this point. Nope, he says go back home tomorrow and tell Santa about the toys, when he himself could just fly there. I'm not sure why he needs these guys to deliver the message, or why this idea didn't pop into his head before now. What are you doing with all these toys anyway? It doesn't look like you've done much to help them. So, just like that, they completely change their minds about running away and decide to head for home. But Rudolph, fearing the snow monster following his nose...
Goodbye, Cornelius. I hope you find lots of tinsel. Goodbye, Hermie. Whatever a dentist is, I hope someday that you're the greatest.
What a way to give someone a heart attack! A few months pass of Rudolph living on his own before he finally matures enough to return home himself, only to discover that his parents are still missing.
They've been gone for months, out looking for you.
Clarice?
She's gone too, and I'm very worried. Christmas Eve is only 2 days off, and without your father, I'll never be able to get my sleigh off the ground.
Oh no, the tragedy. If only he had some kind of surplus flock, like maybe a batch of deer that have grown into adulthood and are ready to pull the sleigh. All that talk before. Oh, you want to pull the sleigh, do you? Too bad, you will all be food for the snow monster. Now Rudolph is off to find his parents and finds them straight away in
the cave of the abominable snow monster.
Okay, I don't get this. These guys have been out searching for months. Did they just get nabbed, or has the snow monster been holding on to them all this time? Was he waiting for them to ripen or something like that? And what is it exactly that made Rudolph go and search here in the first place? Well, turns out that deer aren't much a match for snow monsters. And we cut to Yukon, Cornelius, and Hermie, who have also been apparently wandering around in circles for the past few months too. And they suddenly decide to reappear in the nick of time.
Oh, why doesn't he get it over with?
Clarice!
What is with this monster? All he does is look at them. Has anyone ever seen him eat anyone?
I will name him George, and I will hug him and pet him and squeeze him.
Do your stuff.
Oink, oink.
Put some heart in it. That bumble's hungry.
Oink, 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 oink.
Let's see, I've got more than enough reindeer meat to last me the month. Oh, what is that? Oh, screw that. It's bacon!
The rescue is a success. They knock out Snowy, and then Hermie relieves him of his teeth.
Let this big blowhard scare you anymore. Just walk right past him.
Where's your mouth? Did they forget to put the mouth on? Without his chompers, Bumble has lost all courage, and Yukon Cornelius takes this opportunity to live out his lifelong dream of wrestling the snow monster. And after a quick tussle, over the ledge they go.
He's gone! Oh, he's gone!
You really had to do it, didn't you? You just had to wrestle the snow monster. But can't think of any other way for this guy to go out. Back home, their tales sway the hearts and minds of all the Christmas town. And just like that, the elf revolution is underway. Now their options have extended to dentistry. We always remember Hermie as the elf that didn't quite fit in, 'cause he wanted to be a dentist of all things. But now looking back, we can see him for what he truly was, a cultural revolutionary, ahead of his time, pushing the elven race to a new future. Gone are the shackles of the Clauses. A new dawn has emerged. That's not the only good news, however. Yukon Cornelius is back, and he's reformed the toothless snow monster. Because it's Yukon Cornelius. Anyone else, I'd say you're just pulling stuff out of a hat. But Yukon, you tame that critter.
You went over the side of the cliff.
Didn't I ever tell you about Bumbles? Bumbles bounce!
And I guess that explains that. And I also guess that everyone just missed that little detail when they looked over the edge earlier.
Gone. Oh, he's gone.
Isn't that him right there?
I'm not dead. Yeah, he says he's not dead. Yes, he is. I'm not.
Well, there's one last issue to attend to. The storm of all storms is raging outside, and... No, we all know the song already.
Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
And now all you have to deal with is the high winds, the freezing snow, but at least you can see.
I knew that nose would be useful someday. I knew it all along.
Father of the Year material, folks. After everything you did, and after you apologize, you're still finding ways to be the biggest knothole of the movie. Santa gains 100 pounds in 10 minutes. I think you'd explode before that happens, and they take off. Well, that's not gonna get annoying. They pick up the misfit toys and start finding homes for them. Oh, that's really not gonna get annoying. And so much for going down the chimney. They just hand out umbrellas and throw them overboard.
Well, folks, as for the rest of the story...
He went down in history.
Like Columbus. Get out of here.
That was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and it's pretty bad. Its stop motion is terrible. This one was made before Santa Claus, and you can really tell it's even more rough around the edges, just by the environments alone, and that is lack thereof. The characters all have these dead, soulless looks to them, and the story has its fair share of holes and is rather dated. But it still has buckets upon buckets of charm. The characters are enjoyable, the music is fun and still catchy, and even with a lot of backgrounds composing of nothing but white, it's still a fun little adventure. Anything wrong that I can complain about is just swept away by either nostalgia or simply by the buckets of Christmas spirit this thing has gushing out of it. The original even manages to stay ahead of any remake or reimagining that has ever appeared. So if you haven't had a chance to see them, you really should. These movies are holiday traditions that go back for decades, and probably will go on for many more. And if you're like me and you see this thing every year anyway, then I thank you for coming to watch it with me this time. I am the Great Matthew Squeak, and Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Take that, Santa! I thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a happy, merry holiday season, and also donate over here to Patreon.